What's up guys, Jack here, I'm at Tech Videos, and it is new iPhone season. It's new iPhone day. I've just come back from the Apple Store with an iPhone 15 Pro Max, so we're going to do a little bit of an unboxing of first impressions. This is my first time sort of actually having a hands-on with this phone, and I will also be doing a review when I've had more time with it, so get subscribed if you want to see that. And also later today, I will also try, and I got two Apple Watches because I couldn't decide between aluminium and natural titanium, so we'll open both, we'll take a look, and maybe you guys can help me decide which one I should keep. And also, I have the new MagSafe charger, which supports even faster wireless charging with all of the iPhone 16s, and a 30-watt plug to go with, so we'll also open those as well. So just a quick little overview, this is the 16 Pro Max, and I went for the 1TB model because I had half a terabyte with the 15 Pro, and yeah, I just kept filling it up, so I thought let's just go 1TB this time, and I'll have a lot more space for storing all of that ProRes video footage that I do like to shoot in. And you guys know that I take a lot of pictures and videos on my iPhone, and we do actually have some camera updates. So we have a 48 megapixel ultra wide camera and a new button on the side. So it's called the camera control, and it sits just underneath the power button, and it lets you take pictures and sort of swipe through the settings. So we'll have a little demo of that as well. All the iPhones get larger batteries this year, which I think a lot of us are going to really appreciate. And they all also get the A18 chip, which is going to bring Apple Intelligence to the entire iPhone 16 lineup, with the Pros getting a Pro version of that chip, which has an extra core for even more performance. So let's get this thing unboxed. And as you can see, I have got the natural titanium iPhone again this year. I'll show you what that looks like next to it in a second, so you can have a little comparison. But I really like this color. I usually just go for like the black or white, and I could not decide, so obviously I had to settle and just get natural titanium again. But I do really like sort of like the industrial look to it. This is the only one that as well doesn't have any coating on the side, so it should, you know, be more resistant to things like dinks and scratches. And the new color this year is Desert Titanium. It's almost like a kind of like a rose gold color, and that was pretty popular. I did a poll and you guys seem to be loving that, so I think that's going to be really popular this year. And I've just knocked an Apple Watch on the floor. There we have the big new display, and let's just see what else we get in the box. Now, you know that Apple's been on a bit of a crusade of taking as much out of these boxes as possible, so there's obviously no plug. They got rid of that a few years ago. We do get a cable still, a nice braided cable, and the SIM ejector tool, because I am in the UK and we still have a SIM slot on our phones. I know you guys in America, you guys don't have that anymore. And in here we have the smallest paperwork ever, and you'll notice that there are no Apple stickers. Goodbye Apple stickers, they took them away from the iPad, and yeah, they're not here with the iPhone either. Rest in peace. Honestly, next year, like, we might not even get a cable. We'll have to wait and see. Right, so let's take a look around. We've got the brushed metal rails on the titanium on the sides. I still really do like that look. I hope that sticks around for a while. On this side, I've got my SIM tray. I don't know if that, like, is that a big deal for you guys in America? Let me know. Like, do you guys wish that you could just pop a SIM in? Because I do find it quite useful to have, and I'll be upset when they inevitably take it away. Then we also have still the action button, and that is coming to all of the iPhone 16s this year, including the regular ones. And that replaces the mute switch, and that lets you, customize some action, so you can get quick access to some shortcuts or the voice memos or translator. I do really like that. And then over on the other side, this is where we have the new camera control. So this is a button, like it is a physical button. I wasn't sure if it was going to be, like the trackpads on the MacBooks, where it's actually not a real button and it just uses haptics to feel like one. But no, it does actually click in. It sits nice and flush, so it doesn't stick out at all. And you can also do like swipe gestures across it. And in future, you'll be able to do like a half press, like on a traditional camera, to like lock your exposure and focus. So something that takes a lot of photos and videos. I'm really excited to try this out. And it does mean that case manufacturers are either going to have a cutout to allow for those swipe gestures, or do what Apple's doing, and they actually have a capacitive button built into their cases that works as like a pass-through, so that it doesn't impede the function of the button in any way. So just to compare next to last year's natural titanium, they look pretty much the same to me. I mean, I can't immediately notice any difference. I don't know, let me know if you can. Looks pretty much the same to me. And just to look at the displays, it is ever so slightly large now. We've now gone from 6.1 and 6.7 inches to 6.3 and 6.9 on the new 16 Pros. And it's asking me to set up my new iPhone. I do love that you can just bring your old one next to it and it just like copies everything over. It's amazing. And I don't know how well it's coming across on camera, but the bezels are definitely, they are noticeably thinner in person. But it definitely, like, it doesn't feel like massively bigger in the hand, so that's always a good thing. I do think that we are approaching sort of the maximum size of the Pro Max phones, but no, it does feel pretty easy to hold with my massive hands. I'll set this up so we can look at some new features, but just before that, if you're wondering where I got this wallpaper from, I actually made a new wallpaper pack. It's been a long time since I made one, but yeah, I made 12 wallpapers. The pack is called Chromatica 1, and it's just like a big exploration of color and, you know, bright, vivid gradients. It comes in pretty much every color you could want to match your shiny new iPhone, and I have done some more neutral ones as well, so you can match it with your titanium iPhone as well. They're over on my website. I've linked to them below, and let me know your favorites in the comments. Oh, and if you use them, use hashtag JCKRGB wallpapers so that I can see them on social media and give you a thumbs up. So another thing to note on the display is it can actually go even dimmer than before. It goes down to 1 nit now, so I mean you can't even see it there. It is actually still on, but if you use your phone a lot at night, then I think you'll appreciate that. But the thing I'm interested in looking at is this new camera control, so let's take a look at that. So with a single press, it will open the camera app with a nice fancy animation. Let's do that again. And also third-party camera apps, once they've been updated to support this, you'll be able to have it launch your favorite camera app as well. And then in the camera, you can press it to actually take a photo. So it definitely feels a lot better, like position-wise, than say the volume buttons, because we've been able to use the volume buttons for a while, since like iOS, when was that, iOS 4 maybe? But they've always been, because they're kind of hard buttons to press, you end up moving the phone, but we'll have to see if it's like, you know, if we're going to end up with like lots of accidental pictures of the insides of our pockets, but it feels really nice to use at the moment. And as well, you can see, you get this little UI pop down. It's almost like they've added another dynamic island to the iPhone, but underneath the camera control. And you can use this to swipe and zoom in and out, so we can go all the way out to 0.5 or all the way in through the different cameras. And then eventually you'll go through the digital ones as well, all the way up to, wow, 25x. But that is, of course, a digital zoom, and that is a bit of a blurry mess, so wouldn't recommend that one. And this is touch sensitive, so if you give it like a light press, it brings up the little UI, and a double light press brings up the menu. So now you can swipe through all of the different controls. So we've got exposure control, we've got depth of field, zoom, cameras, we've got the new styles. So photographic styles have had like a big update, and I'm really excited to try this out, because a lot of people have felt for a long time that the iPhone is too kind of aggressive with the HDR stuff it does and the processing, and this is going to let you sort of kind of tweak it a lot more and dial things back and just give you a lot more control over how your photos look. So really excited to try that out. I mean, there's a few sort of presets here, but when I can get out and actually take some photos with these, I'll show you how they work. But the cool thing about them is once you've set like a look that you like, you can just shoot with it all the time. And if you change your mind later on, you can change the filter as well. And then here we've got cameras, and that is, okay, so that lets you actually jump to each camera. So I'm not a fan of like, I don't want to take like a 2.7x photo. So with this, you can just say, I want a 2x or I want a 5x, or no, give me a big juicy 48 megapixel 1x. Or now, of course, because we have a 48 megapixel ultra wide, we're going to be able to take some really nice high res ultra wide shots as well. So now when we go into macro mode, we're able to take much crispier looking photos with the macro mode. And just to mention, with the 5x, that is now on the 16 Pro as well as the Pro Max. So it's not just limited to the Pro Max model. And in fact, pretty much the only difference is now the screen size and the battery life. So if you're trying to weigh up which one you want to get and you don't want to sacrifice on camera quality, then you don't have to this year. You can just choose whichever screen size that is most comfortable for you. So yeah, Apple did also demo a few other things that you can do with the camera control. So in a software update, you're also going to be able to like half press it to focus and lock exposure. So then it'll work more like a traditional shutter button on a camera, and really excited to try that out. And that was a bit of a theme when they announced the new 16. So a lot of the event was centered around Apple Intelligence, which is not on these phones. That is coming in iOS 18.1 next month in the US and a little bit later in Europe. And yeah, so there's a lot of features that we don't have. Like, I mean, well, I haven't set up Siri yet, but if I do Siri, you know, it won't give me the light up of the edge of the fancy new animation. But no, a lot of that stuff is coming later on. So unusual to ship a product that doesn't have all the features that are being advertised. But I am looking forward to a lot of the Apple Intelligence stuff, and I can't wait to try it out. And of course, I'll be covering all of that as well. And they demoed a feature which looks pretty cool, where you can use the camera control to launch into this like visual Apple Intelligence mode, where you can point your phone at a restaurant and it'll, you know, get you the opening times and the menu, or you can point it at a dog and it will tell you what breed it is. So there's a lot of exciting stuff to come, but it is not on these phones just yet. And just to cover the chip, as I said, it has the A18 Pro with a 6-core CPU, a 6-core GPU, and that is one extra GPU core on the Pro phones versus the regular iPhones. And I'll do some more testing of that when I do my full review. Just while I was in the settings, I noticed there is a camera control section, and by default you have a clean preview when you're using the camera control to hide some of the UI. And you can also change the launching of the camera to a double click instead of a single if you're worried about like accidentally launching it in your pocket. Now, in terms of battery life, Apple says that the 16 Pro Max has the longest battery life in any iPhone that they've ever made. And now that there's been some teardowns, we do have some numbers. So with the iPhone 16, that is up 6.3%. The 16 Plus is up 6.6%. The 16 Pro is up 9.4%. And the Pro Max is now up 6% with a 4,685 mAh battery. And Apple hasn't given too many sort of like, you know, ways of comparing battery life yet, but they have told us that we'll get 4 hours more video playback versus last year's Pro Max. But of course, I'll do some more sort of testing on that and see what that translates to in the real world. And while we're here, we'll look at some new accessories. So we'll just get these quickly unboxed. This is the new MagSafe charger, and it now comes, if I can get it out, with 2 cable size options. So we've got some paperwork, no stickers. The cable is now a lovely braided cable to match sort of Apple's pretty much moved all of their cables over now to braided, and we do appreciate a nice tough braided cable. But the thing that I'm actually most happy about is, and I said this when I first got this with the iPhone 12 when that first came out with MagSafe, the cable was too short. It was only 1 meter long, but now you can get it in either 1 or 2 meters, and really like the 2 meters because I can plug this in under my bed and I still have, like, you know, some length to actually be able to pick up my phone and have it stay stuck to the back when it's charging. And this now charges an iPhone 16 up to 25 watts, up from 15. But in order to get that charging speed, you are going to need to pair it with a 30 watt charger. Okay, I've made a bit of a mess of this. There we go. So this is the 30 watt charger, and now when you pair these together, you'll get even faster wireless charging. So that's a quick unboxing and first impressions of the 16 Pro Max. Just to talk pricing, it is the same as last year. So the 16 Pro with 128 gigs starts at £999 or dollars, with the Pro Max $200 more at $1,199. And with that, you also get a starting storage of 256 gigs. Let me know if there's anything that you guys want me to test out for my review, and keep an eye out for my Apple Watch unboxing as well. If you're not sure if you want to get the aluminium or the natural titanium, I'll get that out as soon as possible. Get subscribed for more tech videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.